I like to think we're helping them pretty significantly. It's something I'm learning a lot from.
This is a long-term strategic plan that we should be deeply committed to.
We see that Mongolia is growing as a developing nation, and we want to be there to assist them.
Welcome to Sukhothai Imog, a province in southeast Mongolia that is deep in the Gobi Desert.
Sukhothai Imog is the site of exercise Tenenmondyle 5. It's a military medical readiness training exercise between the United States and the Central Asian country of Mongolia.
It's part humanitarian assistance and it's part relationship building. It is a unique opportunity for both sides to learn more about the vital signs of medicine inside Mongolia.
We are delighted to be here and honored to be here today.
It's a greeting destined to be repeated several times over the next week. The words in themselves, a gesture of goodwill and explanation. Colonel Peter McEwen calls it cultural courtesy.
Peter McEwen.
McEwen is one of 18 American soldiers transplanted to the outer edges of the Gobi Desert. They represent all facets of the U.S. Army, reserves, National Guard, and active duty.
That helps a lot.
They're part of a larger joint team of Mongolian and American medical practitioners. Together, they represent Tenenmondyle 5, a military exercise based on health.
There is a strategic goal that we can talk about, what I term winning the peace, building the relationships.
Exercise Tenenmondyle is a relationship based on a theater security cooperation initiative between U.S. Pacific Command and the Armed Forces of Mongolia. Traditionally executed by U.S. Army Pacific, the annual event is designed to strengthen collaboration between the two armies.
It's not about what does the U.S. military, what does Pacific Command get out of our being here. It's about building regional cooperation and regional partnerships that really promote and strengthen all the military cooperation that we're doing.
Lieutenant Colonel Matt Schwab is defense attaché at the American Embassy. He says the evolving connection between the two militaries dates back to 1991.
The big issue is trying to get everybody to see that the military is not just about, fighting aggression or going to war or being in combat. It's about getting out and assisting the host nation, assisting their own governments, and building regional capacity.
In this part of Central Asia, regional capacity is a daily vision. Since shedding its identity as a Soviet satellite and creating its own national presence in the early 1990s, the transition for this new sovereign nation has been steady, but painfully slow. A landlocked country, Mongolia is encircled by Russia and China. Remote and mysterious, it is a Central Asian presence frequently defined by the legacy of Genghis Khan and devotion to Buddhism. Geographically, it's a vast and flat landscape, slightly larger than Alaska, dominated by pasture or desert.
You see them squeezed between Russia and China, two big elephants on either side. Very dependent on Russia for energy, very dependent on China for exports, consumer goods. Mongolia is actively searching for what they call third neighbors: South Korea, Japan, European countries, and of course the United States.
Why is relationship building with Mongolia important to America?
Promoting democracy around the world through security assistance, humanitarian assistance, USAID programs, Peace Corps programs. That's just good. That's good business.
Orthopedics?
Colonel Peter McEwen is Tenenmondyle's medical officer in charge. This is his fourth medret, the second to Mongolia. McEwen is responsible for making sure the bilateral team is up and running.
All right, but you guys are okay. You're good. Square.
Dr. McEwen is used to running the show. Back home, he's chief of surgery at the Veteran Affairs Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky, and a member of the University of Kentucky's teaching staff. Australian-born, he prides himself on wearing a uniform of the U.S. Army Reserve.
My father was a wing commander in the Royal Australasian Air Force, and so I always had this military background and desire to sort of somehow be affiliated with the military.
McEwen began his intern residency over 30 years ago in his native Australia. Now at age 56, he takes on his newest appointment, saying he values his position at the VA because it provides the opportunity to care for service members from wars past to present.
Next, please.
Humanitarian missions like this one are an extra bonus.
For many of these people, this is care that they would not otherwise receive. It's not tender anyway? No? It's a chance to learn a broader aspect of medicine and a chance to learn creativity and flexibility that I think is very important in everyday practice. Fine, and he's probably got, if you did a chest x-ray.
The patients travel from near and far using every available mode of transport. They're here to be seen by the Western healers, and for many, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. She says she's here to get her daughter checked because she isn't growing like she should. This man wants his eyes checked and his internal organs. He's heard the people from America were coming and that they are good doctors. The designated sites for the exercise comprise a total of 4 villages spread over a 100-mile area. The closest geographical milestone of note is the Chinese border, less than 10 miles away. It's territory where the word for house call doesn't exist, and medics are rarely seen. All the villages are small and remote, but in the context of the Gobi Desert, these are community centers.
We may be able to make some difference in some of these children's lives just with their short term.
Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Retke is a pediatrician with 15 years of experience. This is his first international deployment. He's surprised and pleased to see overall how healthy the children are, but he admits he's frustrated by the lack of basics, tools, tests, and vaccines, common apparatus he would normally use back home in Hawaii at Tripler Army Hospital. For Retke, the lesson of the day is flexibility.
It takes us back to perhaps how folks were practicing many years ago.
His clientele runs the gamut from newborns to teenagers, and for the most part, their symptoms are typical of children anywhere. But some have heartbreaking deformities.
It turns this way, but it also turns...
They are all invaluable lessons in the practice of medicine.
I'm sharing my experience in education with the local providers, but also learning a great deal about the local population.
Our providers are used to working in the major medical centers.
Colonel Thomas Bailey, exercise director.
Here, we're toning things down where they learn to work under austere conditions. They don't have all the electricity. They're not able to get a CAT scan to make every diagnosis. And that's what we're trying to do, because when we initially go into places like Afghanistan or Iraq, we don't have all that. We need to tone it down a little bit and learn go back to basics.
Pretty much everything here is basic. Mongolia is the land of steppes, infinite arid space colored with dust and wind. In the reaches of the Gobi, getting from here to there is a long and arduous journey where time gets lost. The people are primarily nomadic shepherds, revealed only by occasional settlements of traditional Gurs. And while there are sporadic signs of modern living, the focus is daily subsistence.
This must be the worst one because we're going to numb the eye.
Ophthalmologist Major Susie Nemmers is a naturalized citizen from Indonesia. Like many of her teammates, she's also experiencing her first ever deployment. Nemmers came because she believes she can make a significant difference.
Yes, of course. I just felt like I wish I could have done more than I could do.
What she does do is apply her 11 years of experience for the benefit of the people.
Get to you right there.
But she says the Gobi Desert has presented its own special challenges. She says the sun, the sand, and the wind have caused the people in the area to have a pathologic growth on their eyes.
It's called a pterygium. Nemmers says she's seen it before on soldiers returning from extended duty in the Middle East.
It's not as common as in Mongolia. Here, almost everybody I was seeing, patient above 50 or sometime in the 40, they already starting having one. No, you have to dissect it really nicely. Make sure, you know, you don't cut the muscle. Underneath here is a big muscle.
She says that while operations like this are her primary goal, even basic eye exams are invaluable.